This morning, we are turning the spotlight on the disappearance of Suzanne Simpson and murder suspect Brad Simpson, her husband. The continuing search for his wife is happening there in Texas. And news that Brad's attorney is fighting for him to be released from jail is new this morning. The mother of two has been missing now for more than a month after she was seen fighting with her husband at the house that they shared in the San Antonio area. Now, Simpson's attorney reportedly believes there's not enough evidence to keep his client behind bars. But the arrest affidavit in this case says that Simpson was seen purchasing cement, a construction bucket, heavy-duty trash bags, Clorox, and insect repellent. This was the day after his wife disappeared. Suzanne Simpson's sister told News Nation when they heard Suzanne was missing, they knew that she was gone.
From my understanding, they had this fight at the Argyle Club. They came home, the neighbors witnessed it, and I just assumed that, they had figured the whole thing out that night, and so I didn't fully understand the severity of the situation. But once I understood that, the children hadn't spoken to her in 16 hours, that's when I just knew, okay, she's already in heaven. That's just all there is to it.
Suzanne Simpson Brad Simpson remains behind bars. Suzanne Simpson remains missing. He's there on a $3 million bond, so we're wondering what could be the chances that he gets released pending his trial. Let's talk about it with criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor Matthew Timpanik back with us, and now joining us, domestic violence expert and former law enforcement officer Claudia King. Great to have you both talking about this case that we continue to cover. Claudia, when we hear the sister saying that we knew that she was gone, and the mother we've heard of this victim saying that we were working on a plan to figure out what to do once she left him. She was trying to leave. As a domestic violence expert, can you talk about that statistic of how at risk women, partners, it could be men as well, how at risk they become when they try to leave?
Absolutely. So we do know that when they try to leave, that is the most dangerous time. And that is the time that we can expect to see a higher level of violence, because that's when the abuser is ultimately losing all the control and they can't handle that. Another statistic that we know is it generally on average takes a victim 7 times to leave an abusive situation. So we don't know where Suzanne was at in that process. Was this her first time? Was she really done? We don't know. But again, we do know that if she was trying to leave, which it does seem that that was the plan, that would be the most dangerous time and the time that Brad would be most likely to commit an extremely violent act against her.
Matthew, we don't have a body in this case. That hasn't stopped prosecutors from filing murder charges for Brad Simpson. What are the chances you think that a judge will agree to let him out on bond, especially considering that we've got this multi-million-dollar bond that's in place already?
I definitely think that without the body, it's always going to be a circumstantial case. But my understanding, it's a relatively strong circumstantial case. So what you need to understand is when you prosecute a case, you either have a direct evidence case or you have a circumstantial case. When you have a circumstantial case, you have to eliminate everyone who could have done this. Everybody, every family member, every friend knows Brad Simpson is the one who likely committed this crime. So when you think about what are the chances he gets out, I think as if we're talking 6 months, a year down the road, a judge is not going to have to be able to keep that bond in place to keep him in custody. He's going to have to lower it, because it's, all right, you can't just essentially use our system to hold someone when you know you don't have enough evidence. You need to actually convene a grand jury, present the evidence, and go forward. Or you need to wait until you get some.
And Claudia King, let's talk about the fact that we don't have a body. Suzanne Simpson has not been found, but there have been these searches. We know there was a search of a landfill, but the new information we learned from the arrest affidavit that was unsealed last week is that he was asking people, where's the nearest dump? So there's something to that landfill. How difficult is it? We hear the stories of people and remains being found in landfills, but truly, how difficult is it to actually find something there?
It's incredibly difficult. I mean, you think about a place that is potentially acres and acres large. There's debris being dumped on a daily basis over and over again. It seems like there might be cement involved. So if she is encased in cement, that's going to make it even more difficult to find. So, you know, they're up against a really tough task unless Brad decides to state where he put her, or just some type of evidence comes up randomly that they're able to locate her. I'm just afraid that that might not happen anytime soon.
Yeah, the family certainly asking him to relieve their pain by sharing where she is, but again, it is going to be difficult to see if that happens. Claudia and Matthew, thank you so much for your analysis. That's all the time we have for, but we'll continue to follow this story. Well, enjoy the rest of your morning.